Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I just got a comment on my last video asking me to compare newer Paris Corner Tasking Lactea Divina to the also newer but not as new Her Confession from Latafa. Starting off with Her Confession, Her Confession's notes in the top are mystical and cinnamon. The middle notes are tuberose, mahonial, incense, and jasmine. The base notes are vanilla, tonka, and musk. The notes for Tasking Lactea Divina: in the top you have cacao and incense. Middle notes are tuberose and jasmine. Base notes are milk, tonka bean, and vanilla. I like them both. I'm gonna come right out and say this. God, they're so similar to my nose. Off of this sniff right now. Because I think a lot of times whether your skin's chemistry, the notes that you prefer, are all gonna have an effect on how these fragrances perform on your skin. I'm doing it on a test strip. I think I'm gonna end up doing it on my skin too, just in case. I think that I prefer Lactea Divina, but only because I think that that added milk note makes it slightly more lactonic. I think it is safe to say that these are both lactonic leaning fragrances. Yeah, so Her Confession, in my opinion, is a little bit fresher, slightly less milky, a little bit more white floral. I feel like the white floral is more pronounced in Her Confession. These have already been sprayed and they've been sitting. In my opinion, Lactea Divina to me is a true lactonic fragrance. I don't find this to be spoiled milk-y or any, neither does Her Confession. To me, Her Confession is just slightly more fresh, in my opinion. I feel like those floral notes are, even though they're present in both of them, I feel like the floral notes are more pronounced in Her Confession, ever so slightly. Also, to compare, in the base notes of Her Confession, we have vanilla, tonka, and musk, whereas the reason I think that Lactea Divina is more milky to my nose is because in the base notes of this one, you have milk, tonka bean, and vanilla. Her Confession is musk, Lactea Divina is milk, and I think that is why I would consider this a more lactonic fragrance. I feel like they both fit in the same category. Like, they're definitely not twins. Maybe they're like cousins, but their mothers were twins. That's how they come off on the scent strip, at least. But I am gonna go ahead and do a spray on the skin. I'm gonna do Lactea Divina on this side. Give that a minute. And then Her Confession on this side. See, on the skin, this goes from being on the scent strip, I'm getting a little bit more of the white florals. On my skin, Her Confession is coming off, at least right now, I have nothing else on my skin. Smell a little bit more of the incense. Lactea Divina also has incense in the top, but I don't get it as much in the dry down on my skin. They are so similar. They are even more similar than they are on the test strips. So this is very hard. I will say I would get a sample. If you don't have either of these already in your collection, I would sample both and you take your pick. Lactea Divina is a true lactonic, mainly lactonic fragrance. There are other notes that I smell in here. In closing, I feel like Her Confession is a less lactonic fragrance than Lactea Divina. Even though they both can fit in that category, Her Confession is on the lighter end of that spectrum, and Lactea Divina is definitely on the deeper end of that spectrum. They're both soft and comforting. I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on that I like Lactea Divina more than Her Confession because I'm just in that mood right now where I want something super rich and creamy and milky, and I'm really, really liking that right now. I would say if I would have to like categorize them, Lactea Divina is a predominantly cold weather, nighttime fragrance, or comforting. Think of like a blanket smell, like something you'd want your comforter, sheets, blanket, a flannel, like something warm and cozy. Whereas Her Confession is a little bit more versatile in the sense of like, I think you could wear it at daytime or nighttime. I think that it could be used. Lactea Divina lasts longer on skin than Her Confession. I did the same amount of sprays on each arm, and I did the same amount of sprays on each test strip, and this long after applying it, which hasn't been very long. It's been within the last 20 minutes. Lactea Divina maintains the same scent profile throughout, from the initial spray to the dry down on my skin. It's still pretty strong, whereas Her Confession, it's softer. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on on these two lovely fragrances. I do want to emphasize that I do think that they're both absolutely lovely fragrances. I like them both very much. It's 100% going to come down to your preferences, your body chemistry, maybe where you're located. That those things very largely impact how these fragrances will perform on your skin and what you're going to smell. Because if I love a fragrance and you end up hating it and you got it because of me, it's never going to fail to make me sad if I ever recommend a fragrance and you don't love it. But that's why I think sampling is the way to go. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much to the person that requested this video, and thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, we know that I can get rambly, so thanks if you stuck around, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!